Let's do this thing in this moment in which we live. Let's start with Golden State.
Golden State finished this season 27-12. This is not a 10 seed. You want to call them a 10 seed? Fine. They are much better than that. They were, after the All-Star break, they were top 10 in offense and top 10 in defense. They have played the Sacramento Kings very tight all season long. They have a good game plan that they had from last season against Sabonis in the postseason. Look, you want to disregard this team and say that they had a failed season? I wish you the best of luck. The Los Angeles, Joel Embiid is not going to be on the injury report. He is set to go to tomorrow's play-in game against the Miami Heat. He did skip Sunday's game after tweaking that surgically repaired knee on Friday, but expect him to be ready to go. And look, Philly finished the season very strong. Again, this is a 7 seed in name only. This is not really a 7 seed when Embiid is healthy. That's going to be a continuing theme throughout this postseason. And another team that sets up for the Los Angeles Lakers. Again, you want to call them an 8 seed? Enjoy your time. This team went 13-5 down the stretch of the season. They were very strong offensively after the All-Star break. LeBron just had the best three-point shooting season of his career, and they have a very good game plan against the Pelicans. We saw it in the in-season tournament. We saw it Sunday. They didn't have to travel. The Lakers are set up for this game. The Pelicans have a lot to answer for, especially dealing with the struggles the last 2 times they played.
All right, so that's the situation, and it sets up. And boy, it couldn't have looked worse for Embiid, by the way. I mean, you could just hope that guy, one way or another, whoever you're rooting for, let him be healthy and let's see what he can do. But let's focus in on the Lakers for a minute here, okay? So I made a little bit of a stir yesterday when I just pointed out the obvious. Someone needs to do that. Someone needs to be willing to say aloud, the Lakers would be way better off losing Tuesday night than winning. And you ask, well, why would that be, Greeny? Well, I'm glad you asked. Let me show you what the Denver Nuggets have done to the Lakers the last 8 times they have played them. They've beaten them all 8. 4 of those were in the playoffs. 4 of those were by double digits. The Nuggets were 10-1 at home in the playoffs last year. They were an unstoppable machine through the postseason, including running right through the Lakers. If the Lakers win tonight, that's their first-round opponent. Their season comes to an immediate end. Should the Lakers lose tonight but win on Friday, which I know is not a guarantee, but should they do that, then they would get Oklahoma City, the youngest ever 1 seed ever, the second youngest team in the NBA this year, and a team the Lakers beat 3 out of 4 this season. So you tell me how it does not better serve the Lakers to lose tonight's game.
Well, you can only say they're better off if you're willing to go ahead and make the leap that they win that next game against the winner of the 9-10. Right? That's the only way you could guarantee they're better off, right? You don't know that they're going to win that game because they're going to play, if that were the case, either the Warriors or the Kings. The Warriors certainly have put up big numbers against the Lakers. They have not been able to slow them down this season. The Kings have played well against them also. So there's a potential that, yeah, okay, you lose the game, and then you lose another game, and now you don't even get to participate in the best of 7. So that's the leap you have to make. And if you're willing to make that leap, clearly you'd rather play the Thunder than the Nuggets. Every team in the West would make that argument.
There are no perfect scenarios here, obviously. But let me just ask you the following question, because so many people have said that to me. If you're the Lakers and you're playing the percentages, which do they have a better chance of doing? Beating either Golden State or Sacramento in 1 game at home, or beating the Nuggets in a best of 7?
Well, clearly beating the Kings.
So there you go.
Or the Warriors at home.
Well, this is what I'm saying. So, I mean, it just makes sense. I understand it flies in the face of competition. It flies in the face of ethics. It flies in the face of what the league would want. And I'm not suggesting they're going to do it.
And who LeBron James is, I think also
all of those
his psyche, it flies in the face of that as well.
But you know what he also is? He's a very pragmatic and intelligent person. He understands if his goal is to win the championship, down deep in his soul, he knows he's way better off against Oklahoma City than Denver.
We're all going to be watching. Is there going to be a back spasm, a migraine, some bad gumbo somebody ate? There's no telling what could have happened.
They're in L.A. The gumbo would have to be brought up with the Pelicans. What do you think of this, Wendy?
I don't think it's logically incorrect. I think you can state your case and say that clearly that the Lakers would be better off on the opposite side of the bracket. That said, what's the most important thing for the Lakers? The health of LeBron James and Anthony Davis. And if you win tonight's game, you get 3 days off between now and the start of that series on Saturday. And look, I understand that you want to, quote unquote, go far in the playoffs, but for this team to get where it needs to go, it has to play Denver. You might as well face them when you're at your best and you're more rested, and maybe Denver isn't in rhythm yet. They didn't finish the season on the strongest note.
Quickly, brain spasm by the host. The game is in New Orleans tonight, not in Los Angeles.
Why I made the gumbo comment.
Understood.
Okay.
And so you were right, and I'm an idiot. Very quickly, do you expect them to win? Who do you expect to win tonight?
I expect them to win because I think they're going to show up with the intent to win. And if they do, they're going to win the game because they ran roughshod over them over the weekend. The Pelicans are too small for that team. They've got to play smaller lineups against them, and they're too small. They had 70 points in the paint. They dominated them, and I think the Lakers show up to play with the intent to win, and they're going to win.
Okay, we'll see. That would give them a few days off, and we'll get to the bottom of that. We will, a little bit later in this hour, talk about the Warriors and whether tonight is the last night for the legendary trio they've had for all conference finals. If I said they can do that again, is that fact or fiction?
I'm saying fact, and you're going to accuse me of talking out of both sides of my mouth, and that's fair, because I don't think that they would be favored over the Nuggets. But the point I want to make is that there isn't really going to be upsets in the Western Conference. All of these teams, 1 through 10, are very, very formidable teams, including the Lakers and including the Warriors, who are very strong 10 seeds.
All right, I'm going to come back to them in a minute. Legs, if I said this is LeBron's last best chance to win a title with the Lakers, would that be fact?
That is a fact, and it has very little to do actually with LeBron James and Anthony Davis. It has more to do with who's in the Western Conference and the growth of these teams. When you look at a Dallas, you look at a Oklahoma City, you look at a Minnesota, all of those teams have superstars. Some have multiple superstars. They're significantly younger. Those teams are coming. And by the way, I didn't even mention the Denver Nuggets. So for the Lakers, yes, this is their last best shot.
Okay, fair enough. So let's talk about what is actually at stake tonight and what the Lakers would actually be best off seeing happen. Everyone yelled at me yesterday, but that is because, like most geniuses, I will not be fully appreciated until long after my time. Cindy, if you would, the graphic. The last 8 times the Lakers have played the Nuggets, they have lost all 8 of them. 4 of those were in the Western Conference Finals last year. 4 of the 8 were by double digits. The Nuggets never lose at home. They dominated the entire NBA postseason last year. I would add to that if the Lakers play the Thunder in the first round, meaning they're the 8th seed and play the 1, they went 3-1 against OKC this year, and the Thunder are the 2nd youngest team in the entire NBA this season. So, if one were to say it would better serve the Lakers to lose tonight, take their chances Friday night at becoming the 8th seed and taking on OKC instead of Denver, would one be right?
You would be right. It's definitely a better path for them, clearly, to play the Oklahoma City Thunder rather than the Denver Nuggets. But to intentionally orchestrate that, I don't think that's a good idea, Granny, because I think you leave yourself then open to the possibility of losing the next game, which is possible. If Golden State wins, you got to play the Warriors, who have played very well against the Lakers this year. They have Lakers not be able to slow them down. True.
So have the Kings.
Both of those teams.
I understand that.
You now go home, and you're saying, oh, what difference does it make? You go home after playing 2 games as opposed to playing maybe 4 or 5 against the Nuggets. That's really what you're saying.
Yes, I am.
I just don't think
I'm saying the objective is not to get into the playoffs. It is to win the championship or make as deep a run as you possibly can. I'm not sure I understand the logic behind saying, yes, they'd be better off if they lose, but they should not do that on purpose. Those 2 things don't necessarily go together. I understand that there is something ethical, massively wrong with the idea of purposely losing a game of this magnitude. I am simply saying there's no question it better suits them long term to lose tonight than to win.
You're talking about a guy with the psyche of LeBron James, with the career that LeBron James has had, ducking an opponent intentionally, as opposed, and what I mean by that is not putting yourself in a position where anything could happen in a one-game situation, right? Foul trouble, somebody rolls an ankle, Anthony Davis goes out of a game, which happens quite often, and now you lose that 9 to the winner of the 9-10, and you're going home rather than take your chances with LeBron James and Anthony Davis against the Denver Nuggets, catching them early in the playoffs. I just don't think LeBron James would have the mentality, let's intentionally throw this game or not play, whatever it may be, to guarantee we don't have to play Denver.
Logically, you can make a strategic point about why losing this game would make some sense, but I think practically it's not something that the Lakers would do. Number one, what's the most important thing for the Lakers? Doesn't matter who they're playing. The most important thing is health of LeBron and Anthony Davis. They win tonight, they get 3 days off. Plus, I think beating Denver is a tall order. I don't think the Lakers will probably be able to do it, whether it's now or it's in a month. But if you're going to play the Nuggets, historically, they do play their sort of lesser basketball in the playoffs early. You catch them later in the playoffs, I think you have got less of a chance. You catch them, especially if you're in a little bit more of a rhythm, you might have a chance to steal a game in Denver in game 1 or 2. I think the Lakers go all out tonight. They have a good track record in high-stakes games against the Pelicans this year. They have a good game plan. They've been able to stay there. I think it's all set up for them to take care of business tonight.
Okay, so everyone stay where you are on the basketball because the Warriors are going tonight a little bit later in this hour. I will ask these two gentlemen, are we about to see tonight, for the last time, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green on the court together after all these years and all they've done?
Xong video phân tích của chúng tôi, sau đây sẽ là video hướng dẫn cách làm một con gấu màu vàng như thế này. Bây giờ các bạn bắt tay vào làm với mình nhé. Và mình sẽ gắn dán nó lên cái phần mặt con gấu này nha. Đó. Để mình sẽ vẽ cái con nuôi cho cái mắt này. Mình sẽ dùng bút chì để vẽ cái lông mi nha. Đó. Sau khi mà mình đã tô xong mắt thì mình sẽ làm cái mũi và cái miệng cho con gấu nhé. Mình sẽ dùng một chút màu cam này. Các bạn sẽ cắt như mình nhé. Và mình sẽ gắn nó lên như thế này. Và mình sẽ cắt nha. Cắt cái phần giấy màu cam còn thừa ở phần dưới này. Đó. Và mình sẽ làm một cái mũi. Mũi thì rất là đơn giản. Mình sẽ cắt ra một cái miếng hình tròn. Rồi mình sẽ gắn nó lên. Đó. Sau bây giờ mình sẽ dùng cái bút màu này, mình sẽ tô đậm cái phần viền của cái con gấu này lên nha. Mình sẽ tô này thì cái con gấu của mình trông nó sẽ nổi bật hơn. Đó, và mình sẽ vẽ hai cái tai nha. Mình sẽ vẽ hai cái má hồng cho con gấu ấy. Đó, như vậy là mình đã vừa làm xong một con gấu đáng yêu màu vàng bằng giấy thủ công như thế này, rất là dễ làm. Đó, mình chỉ cần những cái tờ giấy màu như thế này thôi là mình cũng có thể làm ra những cái con gấu như thế này rồi. Và các bạn thích thì có thể làm cùng mình nha. Và video của mình đến đây là hết rồi. Cảm ơn mọi người đã theo dõi. Hẹn gặp lại mọi người vào các video tiếp theo nhé. Xin chào tạm biệt.